In a move that shocks absolutely no one and ignores the rules of every zombie movie ever made, scientists have revived a 48,500-year-old zombie virus that has spent the last 48,500 years frozen in permafrost. Before we get deeper into this, follow my socials. Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram. Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. That's Based with Caleb Salvatore. It's my show. It airs every Saturday, brought to you by Outlaw Streamers, where you can go to outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great content. It's on Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. They won't let us post the full episode to YouTube. You go watch it, you'll see why. It's just a little too edgy for them sometimes. We do post clips of it here on YouTube. Every day, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can go check the clips out if you like it. If it's for you, go watch it. Go give us a follow on there. We're trying to grow the whole network. Not my network. I'm just the pretty face in front of a camera. It's cool. I don't have to do anything. So yes, scientists have revived a zombie virus. Isn't that great news? Isn't that great news? They're going to experiment on it to try to see how, if it were to come out of the permafrost on its own naturally, right, through the climate change that they're always telling us about. If it were to come out of if it were to come out and get released on its own, or someone were to use it as a bioweapon, they're experimenting on it to see how they could treat it, which I understand. But what happened the last time we did that? Gain of function research? Anybody? I have to be very careful with my words when I'm on topics like this, because YouTube's already hit me with a warning. I cannot talk about the thing that shall not be named, or the treatment, quote-unquote treatment for the thing that shall not be named. I can't talk about it, but you know exactly what I'm referring to when I say lab leak. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I will get a strike. I will get in trouble. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to start over. Like, this has already been enough of a pain figuring out this YouTube algorithm. I think I finally got it. I don't want to do that. Like I said, if you want to win the game, you got to play, or you got to be on the field. It's just all there is to it. We have to be on the field. Unfortunately, we got to play by their rules right now. So it says, while a pandemic unleashed by a disease from the distant past sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, or, 3 years ago, scientists warned that the risks, though low, are underappreciated. Chemical and radioactive waste that dates back to the Cold War, which has the potential to harm wildlife and disrupt ecosystems, may also be released during thaws. There's a lot going on with the permafrost that is of concern, and it really shows why it's super important that we keep as much permafrost frozen as possible, said Kimberly Miner, a climate scientist at NASA. This is CNN. So take it as you will. Permafrost covers a fifth of the northern hemisphere. What this feels like is they've moved on from the thing that shall not be named, and now their whole big thing to scare everyone is climate change. Because, listen, guys, throughout my entire life, we've been like 10 years away from an apocalypse due to climate change. When it's coming, I don't know. But every year they tell us we're 10 years away. We have 10 years to right the ship or we're done. And they always just keep moving the goalposts further and further back because it's a giant scam to make money and gain power. That's all it is. So this is the new thing they're going to scare us with. Hey, the ice caps are going to melt, and we're going to get diseases, just unholy retribution of viruses that we've never even heard of, that you couldn't even comprehend, stuff that's going to reanimate the dead, stuff that's going to destroy crops. So we have to, and that right there, the threat of a zombie virus being released is why you should pay more taxes. That's how stupid. This is all about stealing more of your money. This climate awareness, this climate alarmism garbage. It's all it's ever been about is stealing your own money. Now, I agree that we should take care of the earth. Like the chemical spill in Ohio, perfect example. I agree. You shouldn't litter. We should try to recycle things, make sure we're not just going out and polluting rivers and the air and stuff like that. I completely agree with that. But this idea that me paying more money in taxes or getting rid of my gas stove is somehow going to prevent a zombie apocalypse is the most ridiculous, laughable thing they've come up with to date. This takes the cake. I literally don't know what they could say that would be more ridiculous than, if we're not careful, if we don't stop climate change, there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. What are we doing here? Listen, there already is a zombie apocalypse, and it affects about 50% of the population. This brain decay that we've got going on right now. believe me, there's already a zombie apocalypse taking place in this country and all over the world. Honestly, it's probably more than half the country has already been affected by it. It's too late to stop the zombies. And a lot of those zombies are probably the ones clamoring for higher taxes because they think that paying more money in taxes and no longer cooking on a gas stove and somehow driving a Tesla, that the battery on the Tesla, there's no way to recycle it, and it's mined through horrible human rights violations and horrible actual issues with the climate that actually pollute the environment. Somehow that's going to stop it from getting hotter. Give me a break. Give me a break. Somehow me getting rid of my car and taking the bus everywhere is going to stop it from getting hotter. Shut up. It's not going to stop it from getting hotter, and it's certainly not going to stop a zombie apocalypse. So many of you guys are so nihilistic. Great meteor of death, 2024. Shut up. This is what you guys want, an apocalypse. Got bad news for you. A lot of you are going to go with it. A lot of you have already gone with it. Regardless, if this is true, if they really did pull a zombie virus out of permafrost, perhaps it would be a good idea to put it back. Have you heard stories about people from 48,000 years ago? No, because they were all eating each other because they had the zombie virus. So maybe we should just put it back. I think sometimes we get a little too curious about nature, and nature puts us in our place. I really don't want the zombie virus because I'm going to tell you what, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be like The Walking Dead or Night of the Living Dead where they're like stumbling around walking just clueless and you can just kind of brain them like you would in a video game. It's not going to be that. It's going to be like 28 Days Later where they're running after you. They're breaking down your wall, or I Am Legend. They're breaking down your doors. They move just as fast as you. They feel no pain. I'm good. I don't want to deal with that. I'd prefer not to. We're well armed in our house, but I don't think I'm well armed enough to deal with that. I would probably be dead pretty quick, and I think just about everyone would be. There wouldn't be much surviving that. I'm going to tell you that right now. So maybe we'll do a fun video sometime on how a zombie apocalypse could actually happen. Because you think about it, there's always the. Nah. We'll save it for a fun video. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Top off on this. So yes, I think that given recent history, and recent history being that which shall not be named, that destroyed economies, ruined people's lives, ruined people's mental health, caused substance abuse, obesity to skyrocket, and of course, killed some people. Real virus, right? I'm not saying it was fake. Real virus. But given recent history, I would say it is probably a good idea that we don't experiment on viruses. I'd say, listen, I don't know. I'm not a big gambler anymore, but I do know a thing or two about odds. And I'd say the odds that this thing's gone 50,000 years without ever getting released are probably in our favor. So I'd be okay if we just left it there. If we just left it alone, we didn't experiment with it. We didn't put it in I can't say his name. Can't say his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Dr. Fabio. We can't trust him, so I'd rather not put it in his hands. You really going to tell me that you would trust him with a zombie virus? Listen, if that moron and anyone that works with him or for him gets a hold of this zombie virus, we are all screwed. We're all screwed. Don't even write your will because there won't be anyone around to get it. Just get right with your creator. We'll put it that way. It says, precedent for human infection. A lung sample from a woman's body exhumed in 1997 from permafrost in a village on the Seward Peninsula of Alaska contained genomic material from the influenza strain responsible for the 1918 pandemic. In 2012, they confirmed the 300-year-old mummified remains of a woman buried in Siberia contained the genetic signatures of the virus that causes smallpox, an anthrax outbreak in Syria, and then it just goes on with the precedents. You must remember our immune defense has been developed in close contact with microbiological surroundings, who said so-and-so, who was, or Evangard, I don't know who that is, part of the CLNIF Nordic Center of Excellence, a group that investigates the effects of climate change. Yeah, climate change. on the prevalence of infectious diseases in humans and animals in northern regions. They blame everything on climate change because that's the big money grab. That's the big power grab. You don't listen. I'm going to tell you right now, guarantee you by the year 2030, and it may not happen in the United States, and it may happen in the United States, but I could see it happening in Canada, Europe, places, China even, where they like to do test runs before they do things here. Because, they don't have the guns to where they could actually shoot back. So they like to, kind of map out. The regime likes to map out how they're going to oppress you in other countries. They like to do the trial and error, get that part over with there because they're less likely to get shot doing it there. Guarantee you by the year 2030, you will see climate lockdowns similar to what you saw with COVID. You can't leave your house. You have to shut down for 90 days. You can't do this. You can't do that. Only essential workers. And, of course, liquor stores are going to be essential because it's not actually about saving the climate. It's about demoralizing us and breaking our will and getting us to be overweight, porn-addicted, substance-abusing zombies. Not from the zombie virus that they just released from the permafrost, but different types of zombies. Zombies that are completely dependent on government and large corporations. All in all, the regime. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, share around if you're feeling generous. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram. It's a fun Twitter account. It is. I just tweet my thoughts. It's not like I have political opinions on there and stuff, but it's not like all politics. Like Nebraska football season, you can watch me melt down because they're primed to disappoint me once again. So you can go on there. It's just fun to follow things along live. Go check it out. Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. Follow my show, That's Based with Caleb Salvatore, every Saturday, outlawstreamers.com, Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcast. Again, that's Based with Caleb Salvatore. Every link, every social media profile I just told you about, all in the description below if you missed it because I talked too fast. Sorry. Thank you guys so much. New episode of That's Based drops this Saturday. Go check it out. Omaha, Nebraska, March 11th, Beach House Bar and Grill. Be there, 9 o'clock, doing some comedy for you. Come out. Thank you guys so much. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. Peace out and stay based.